We're talking about the history of humanity and how we have been influenced. And it's like we deserve to know that, and we deserve the technologies that are being suppressed.
We're being exposed to only so much information. We're not being fully educated. There's a difference.
What percentage of UAP sightings, in your belief, go unreported by our pilots?
I would estimate we're somewhere near 5% reporting, perhaps 5% reporting.
If there isn't anything, then why the push to cover it up?
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
By then, I had already accepted this new paradigm of there being, as Senator Inouye said, and I'm quoting, there's a secret government with its own Air Force.
Its own Navy, its own fundraising mechanism, and the ability to pursue its own ideas of the national interest, free from all checks and balances, and free from the law itself. Free from the law itself. Free from the law itself.
Thank you for tuning into our podcast. We have created a referendum known as the It Can't Be a Joke Revolution and Initiatives. This is a movement of thought and consciousness. Our mission is to educate and plant the seeds of curiosity surrounding the issues that we deem most critical, with the goal of freeing humanity from the powers that seek to hold us down.
We use this as an opportunity to not only expose the corruption in our country and world, but to discuss the importance of consciousness, self-awareness, and spiritual evolution as we seek to crack the riddles of life and our purpose on this planet.
Melissa,
Kevin,
let's blast off.
Let's.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to the It Can't Be a Joke podcast.
Hello.
We have a topic today that we're going to be talking about that some of you may know about, but a lot of you probably don't. It wasn't until the past couple years that I realized what this theory was and what was being predicted for a time very much like right now. Mm-hmm. And the topic that we're talking about today is Project Bluebeam. You may have heard me mention Project Bluebeam in the rendition of the speech from the movie The Network that I did at the beginning of part 2 of our 9/11 series, which if you have not checked that out or checked out our 9/11 topic where we dive into everything that wasn't told to us at that time, you should definitely check it out. And I bring up Project Bluebeam, and I want to go back and play a little portion of that clip so you can hear it.
What should we do about the depression, the alcoholism, the addiction, the southern border, the UFOs and zero-point energy technology confiscated by the lunatics in our intelligence agencies, the wars, the human trafficking, or the evil incarnate which has infiltrated our government for decades, slowly and malevolently brainwashing the masses until they finally pull the trigger for world domination? Project Bluebeam is imminent. Stand your ground. All I know is that first you've got to get mad.
So there's a lot that goes into this theory, but when you break it out, it's really quite simple to understand.
Project Bluebeam sounds like it'd be something cool, but unfortunately it's not.
No. It's essentially the plan from this cabal, this elitist group of oligarchs who control everything, control all the money, control the narrative, control whatever they want. They don't answer to anybody. It would be one of their final attempts to try to gain complete control of everyone on the planet and to dominate over all of them. And the stages that go through the plan that they're trying to put into place is a lot of debauchery, a lot of chaos, a lot of manipulation, and trying to twist the mind into believing this is all natural and occurring.
Yeah.
And as we know, and what we've been researching, what we've been talking about, a lot of the things that we thought were all natural for most of our lives and that wasn't being influenced by other humans or demons, as some of these people are, because they are evil at their core. So gotta assume that they have some kind of demonic presence in them.
Yeah.
They're all about the controlling aspect of trying to brainwash and manipulate us and have us just go, oh yeah, we'll just go along with this because This is what we're supposed to do.
They have mind control over a majority. That's why they're trying, and why they might think they can get away with it. Yeah, they want to control and manipulate. They've got a pretty good grasp on it right now. So if it seems a little left field or new to you, I mean, it's nothing new. It's just the actual Project Bluebeam is the, like you said, kind of the ultimate thing, the ultimate trickery. It's crazy.
Yes. Tomfoolery. Mm-hmm. And we know that they control the media. We talked about this in the episode that we did on the horrors of human trafficking.
Yeah.
And it's important to know about Operation Mockingbird, which is the CIA's buying out of the mainstream media to write the stories and to talk about the stories that they want them to talk about, because they want to control the narrative. If you control the information that's presented to people, you control everything that's going on.
Yeah, George Soros just bought, a ton of radio stations, and the FCC, who is very strict, doing their quarterly audits and stuff, they just let him pass through with, because usually, the process of him wanting to just skip all of these necessary steps would take a year, but they just, for the first time ever, didn't make him go through that. So definitely a lot of different ways they've always been controlling the narrative, TV, radio, etc.
Let's put more propaganda out there.
Yeah.
Let's lie.
Well, you just have to know who owns it. When people say, I haven't seen it in a text or article or this or that, but it's like, you just have to know who owns those outlets.
Yeah. They own all the means of getting the information out there. Mm-hmm. Well, if stratospheric aerosol injection or chemtrails, they're not going to say stratospheric aerosol injection, the debunkers, they'll say chemtrail. Well, no. And then after all the film that we have that we know isn't contrails, because we know that those will dissipate. They spread out and form blankets over the sky, and they don't disappear. Those aren't contrails. And when you ask a chemtrail debunker, when they try to call you out online, explain why they stick around, spread out, and form blankets over the sky to block the sun. None of them can answer it. They'll just try to attack some other point. Yeah. They're the ultimate trolls, and the true agents of disinformation can be found online. And the most important thing to do is research these things yourself, use your brain, use your common sense, and form your own conclusions. Yeah,
people don't credit common sense and intuition.
No, they don't. No, it needs to be from this institution, and they need to say that the science, well, don't you understand that they control all that narrative too?
Yeah.
Look at the patent office and look at them not letting certain inventions get through, because it would literally free us from the part of the control that they have over us.
Yeah.
So you just look at it, and it is a cabal. It's just a big corrupt cabal of billionaires, politicians, musicians, actors. I mean, it's all over the place. Your local mayor.
They're thugs. They're all thugs.
Yeah. And then look at the societies that they're in. What are their secret little fraternities? Are you a Freemason?
Yeah.
Did you join Skull? Did you go to Yale and join Skull and Bones? Mm-hmm. It's pretty wild. They love their clubs and they love their symbolism.
Yep.
But they control the narrative. And the person who came out with this theory, his name is Serge Monast.
Okay.
He was born in the 40s, 1945 in Canada, but they don't know too much about his early life. But in the 70s is when he took on a career as a journalist.
Okay.
And this is what this article online that talks about it. When you search Serge Monast or Project Bluebeam, this is going to be the first thing that comes up. It's from All Things Interesting, that website. Mm-hmm. And so they say that he, in the 70s, embarks on a career of journalism and later a conspiracy theorist, which we know is the term that they like to put onto people that have differing views and do more research and look into things deeper than what's just presented to them from the mainstream that we know is bought out by the intelligence agencies.
Yep.
So then, they go on to say that he was a later, career as a journalist and then a conspiracy theorist, but that's really what journalism is. If you're doing it real, you're looking for corruption, right? You're looking for those type of things. That's why people get into it. Not all of them. Some of them are just assets for the cabal. But then he started to dive into politics, science, technology. and was with a skeptical eye. So he's starting to look into these things. And he did do other endeavors such as poetry and things like that, but it's not as well known. His main engagement through his poetry or any of his writing would have been through existential questions, societal norms, looking at what's happening around us. Let's look at the deeper thing. What is your subconscious taking you to? Where does your brain go? And what if you think about those things, if you think on a deeper level, that's what he was really getting into, as well as, unsolved mysteries. So obviously UFOs and aliens are one of the main topics that come to mind when you're trying to understand, how did we get here?
Yeah.
Why are we here? And what got us to this point right now? And so he started to look into those things. So immediately, I respect this guy. I respect him. And he likes to look at as we call it, let's look at the huge thing here. Let's look at the big thing here. So Serge died in 1996 of a heart attack in his home. He was aged 51 when he passed. Another untimely death by a whistleblower.
Well, how convenient for them.
He's most famous for and known for Project Bluebeam.
What is the exact description?
An overview, and we're going to dive into it, is essentially the government, the military, and this is on a global level, as you can see. There are many different politicians that are working together on a global level to try to usher in their agendas, their policies. And we know right now that one of the main things that they're trying to do is mass surveillance.
Yeah.
Mass control your money, see everything that you can do with your money, tell you what you can and can't buy, and also tax you on absolutely everything.
Yeah.
They have these similar ideas of the mass surveillance. You as an individual are going to lose much of your rights, and it all goes back to the state, the government.
Yeah.
And at this point, it will be he claims, a one world government, aka the New World Order.
Yeah.
Is what it's called. And that they have complete dominion over everyone. And they do this by initiating a series of events that will start to make people reliant on the government and the military.
Yeah.
And then the threat of an alien invasion.
Yeah.
And that the aliens are taking over. We need to band up against the aliens because they're the ones that are coming to attack us.
Right.
Which it's all just a huge psyop. So the idea is to get everyone under the same banner, and then they'll go fight the aliens. And this is after a huge majority of the human population is perished.
Yeah.
So there's way less people to manage.
Yeah.
And then they go out into space and they start doing their thing as this spacefaring group.
I mentioned Elon Musk had an interview last week, and he's talking about how, oh yeah, it'd be cool to go to Mars and visit and whatever, explore, but we're more concerned about, is it habitable? We need to figure that out first. Yet they can't save half the population from living in poverty here. If you just stop and think about it and look around, it doesn't make sense what they spew out.
If you get free energy for everyone on the planet, you save everybody. Everyone can grow their own food. Everyone can be self-sufficient. There doesn't have to be wars, and the energy is out there. The technology is out there. So that aspect alone should make anyone question what's going on, and anybody question who's in charge. I don't accept the status quo of just having to go along with it.
Right.
That's not what we do.
No.
It can't be a joke. Because
not who
what
we
they try
are.
to do is brush it all off as a joke if you don't understand the name yet.
So yeah, Project Bluebeam, a lot of people think they're going to come out with, a fake alien invasion. And the reason we touch on all these different topics is because when you understand them all, they all coincide, like the chemtrails with Project Bluebeam, all of this stuff that they put up in the sky. I'm thinking in my head just naturally, well, they can probably project certain things, whatever chemicals and instruments that they're using to control weather and this and that. They can do that very easily with other things. They can deceive people with technology because people know they're 100 to 200 years farther ahead than we are with technology. And they're still studying it. Who knows? Who knows the exact number? They're always uncovering and trying new things, like the moving stars that we see. I don't know. I have a suspicion that that's surveillance too.
Yeah. I mean, right now in RFK is talking about Bill Gates has like 60,000 satellites up there.
Yeah.
Like Bill, we hate you.
I know.
And so many people hate you.
Yeah.
And you think that you're some god.
Yeah.
You got a god complex, and you're literally one of the most corrupt people on the planet. And he has all these satellites. I mean, Musk has all these satellites. They're all over the place. So we're seeing, we call them moving stars, but there's a good chance that they're probably satellites, because you see them every night when you go out. It's just a moving star. And some of them will flash super bright. They've even said it. They can look anywhere on Earth at any time and see what's going on. So it's literally that mass surveillance thing.
Yeah.
We don't need satellites blasting all over the place, watching our every move. And if you think that we do need that, and you agree that the government should have that power, or these elitists should have that power, then you have to re-question everything that you stand for, because that doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
If they say that it's right, it's for our best interest, you have to, anyone can think anyway. I'm not going to tell people how to think, but try to take a step back and look at it from, why would you want that? Hey, thanks for tuning into this episode. If you are enjoying our show and support the It Can't Be a Joke mission, please consider leaving us a review on your streaming platform, following us on X, YouTube, Instagram, and Rumble, and showing your support by purchasing one of the many items we have for sale on our merch shop, which can be found in our link tree on our social media sites.
We're always looking to work with like-minded individuals, so if you're interested in working together or sponsorship opportunities, shoot us a message or email. Thanks again for all of your support.
Now, back to the episode. So that we already know they have hologram technology already. They're already doing it. They can do light shows in the air with drones.
Yeah, they can cast holograms on mountains where certain crafts fly through. Oh, here's an opening, but to everyone else, it might look like, oh, that's just the side of a mountain.
Yeah.
So I think they use it for that kind of stuff too. Deceiving.
And what does the devil do?
Deceives.
He's the deceiver.
Yeah, we're watching the Rings of Power. Sauron is the ultimate deceiver.
He is the ultimate deceiver. He is the devil. I mean, that's the background of Sauron.
And then when you Google Project Bluebeam, there's like some new wiki website called rationalwiki.com, and it says, we're pouring some coffee here.
Sorry, go ahead and do it.
When you search it, it shows up on Rational Wiki as a conspiracy theory that NASA is trying to basically make it look like the coming of Christ, but it's really the Antichrist. And it's kind of like, well, kind of sounds like what it is, actually. They're twisting it.
The Antichrist at the helm is what they want in the end. So there's 4 steps of Project Bluebeam.
Oh, okay. What are they?
The first step involved is the creation of man-made earthquakes at precise locations around the world, which would then uncover supposed evidence discrediting traditional religions, especially Christianity and Islam. So, a few years ago, someone would think, oh, man-made earthquakes. Well, we don't have that technology. We would all think that at one point. And then you learn that, oh, wow, they actually do have all this weather modification technology. They can create earthquakes, they can create rain,
hurricanes,
they can create storms, tornadoes, hurricanes, anything. That type of technology. Also, the people who discredit and think that that's not happening, it absolutely is. Look back at the patents. Look at the patents into it. This is facts right in front of you. Then they tell you, oh yeah, we're going to be flying around, we're going to be spraying, or this is an idea from 4 years ago. Well, they're obviously clearly now doing it with no one's consent or no one telling. And so they have that technology. So it's like, okay, well, Serge, okay, you're right there. And these earthquakes are going to uncover artifacts and different evidence discrediting Christianity and Islam.
Yeah.
So that's 2 of the biggest religions in the world. I think if people are aware that this is what they're going to try to do, it's like, well, you don't win. We know what you're doing.
Yeah.
We know your plan, and we're getting closer and closer, it seems, to it. I mean, we're recording this 3 days after Hurricane Helene, and has just completely destroyed North Carolina and Tennessee, parts of North Carolina and Tennessee. And there's like no help being sent to them right now, but we're sending more billions and billions to Ukraine and Israel. And we're sending more of our National Guard over to the Middle East when we are suffering here, and they don't care.
No,
it's wild. So that's the first step. The second step is to be followed. So after the first step's completed, followed by a gigantic space show, in quotes, wherein three-dimensional optical holograms and sounds would emerge, projecting images of religious figures like Jesus, Muhammad, and Buddha across the sky before the figures slowly merged into one entity, the Antichrist.
So weird.
So Serge, also right, they have the power to do these space shows. They have the drones. They have the hologram technology. You just project it out. And they could put any image up in the sky to scare the crap out of so many people who aren't aware of what their plans are.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they're trying to usher in there. They're trying to essentially just brainwash everyone into thinking, oh yeah, this is real and natural.
Yeah, the ultimate deception, it sounds like, which would be so sad if everyone fell for it.
And who would do the ultimate deception?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates would definitely be, I would assume, would be part of that. And the devil. That's the Satan. That's what that entity does. They deceive. That's what they've been doing for so long. So that's
since forever.
Since really forever, since the people in charge have greed and corruption and only care about themselves, they've been in charge for way too long. And there's funny theories, well, no, it's true, that the Freemasons have been around a lot longer than just when they started and formed America.
Yeah.
Been around for thousands of years, going back to ancient Egypt, the Freemasons. Mm-hmm. So you got these clubs and these groups that have been around for so long that just like to control it all, and they have their own.
They like to play God, basically.
Yeah. And
hasn't gone away.
Yeah, and they have their own history. They say they hoard the secrets of, history and things like that. And we've heard that one of their biggest things is like, yeah, the Egyptians, they had light bulbs, something like that. Like that's what they tell some of the members that are in it. Like, this is one of the big things. Here's your book of your lambskin covered book or whatever, leather bound lambskin with everything. And one of the biggest things is, yeah, we've been around for a long time. And we're all about that the Egyptians had light bulbs. Which
probably is true.
But yeah, so the Freemasons, if you didn't know, they were huge in setting up the United States. Most of them were all Freemasons. That's the second step. So we have the earthquakes, first step. Second step, holograms, projections in the sky, crazy light show, confusing everyone into thinking that, oh, here's all of our beloved religious figures now joining into one. Okay, so everything's coming together. Here's the perfect. But in reality, it would be them just fooling everyone.
Yeah.
The trickster.
Yeah.
Step on that snake.
Yeah.
Suffocate it. And put it out. That's how you get rid of them.
We'll just step on it.
Step on that elitist cabal of evil snakes. The third step involves, and this is also very interesting, the third step involves telepathic electronic two-way communication where artificial gods would speak to each individual in their own language, convincing them of the new truth that they should believe.
Now that's creepy. I don't think a lot of people know that little fun fact. Project Bluebeam, they're like, oh yeah, aliens.
So now you're hearing voices in your head. And here's the interesting thing. We've talked about this before. Eric Hecker from Raytheon, he said that they're investing or have invested in creative technology to put other voices in your head, or to put your voice in your own head, making you think that it's your own original thought, but it's not. There's also a patent that we talked about in the most recent episode, but that was the patent for, and I ask, why is there a patent for suboptimal acoustic manipulation of the nervous system? And so you're looking at all these horrific and weird inventions and technologies, and it's like they all go directly in line with this theory.
I'm not as intimidated by that. Just like, I still feel like I have the power to control and maybe intuitively know what my own thoughts are. I mean, even though we struggle with that every day, knowing like, oh, what is my intuition telling me? What's my ego telling me? Over the summer, the World Economic Forum came out with some new technology. They did a big presentation on it, how it's supposed to be able to help people in the workplace and how they can look at your brain activity. They can tell when it's slowing down. They can tell when you get distracted. And they say that it's to help people, quote, stay on track. Like we're robots. Like why are we here then? Why have us here? What's the point?
Right.
It's
such a creepy level of micromanagement. And for anyone
so
and any
creepy.
manager who would be like, oh, this is just such a great idea. It's going to help us hit our KPIs. It's going to help in our roadmap for success. And we're going to like...
It got down to a specific point where like we can tell if so-and-so is having, you know, feelings for someone else in the office. Or like if they're talking in a flirtatious way, I'm like, geez Louise, who goes to one of these forums and thinks, oh, yes, very good. We will want to do that too.
Yes, they're all kooks.
Oh my God.
They're crazy psychopaths.
They also know they've had control for so long. They study our brains and how people react in the masses, you know, and how much stress there was after 9/11 and just how our brains and how society reacts to certain things. They've been testing that for a long time too. That's the part that worries me.
They want access to our brain and they want our data. They're getting it from our phones and everything. Now they want directly into your brain. We want the data from there. Get the hell away from us.
They want us all. They want us all on the web, the web of humans.
Yeah,
that's what they want. I think
just a giant spider. The web, yes, across the whole planet. You know, the spider web that's holding us all down. But now, if you look up on Google, satellites, imagery of satellites currently going around the planet, and the entire planet is completely covered in satellites. Like, you obviously, when you look up, you don't see them all because they're tiny up there, but that's how many there is up there. There's like there's over 100,000, probably 200,000 satellites. There's probably more. That's part of the web. That's part of their control.
Yeah, surveillance.
It's mass surveillance.
Constant, 24/7.
And then they have your phone, which they can, you know, it's a spying device. You know?
Well, and it's also to train us. Now, you know, everyone's addicted to their phone. It's in your pocket. Get the Apple Watch, put it on your wrist so everything's right there on your wrist. Pretty soon it'll be inside your wrist, so you won't even have to turn it on. You don't have to do this, that, or whatever. That's what I talk about when I talk about hypnosis. It's not some look into my watch and slowly fall asleep. And I mean, yeah, they're getting you into that rest and digest state where your subconscious mind is wide open and it can be manipulated. But this is hypnosis slowly, over time, over decades.
Yes.
It's weird.
It's the slow lull. Yeah, they want to just keep pushing out more technology because people...
And that's why they tell people, you're still asleep. Wake up. Yeah. That's what that means.
Wake up.
Get out of the...
cycle.
Yeah, get out of that mind control. Like Caleb Brimbor last night on the episode, he's like, my mind was stuck there. He's like, but I'm free now. I've broken free from it. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, the Rings of Power is so good.
Season 2 is bomb.
I don't care what any other haters say.
Get past the first couple episodes. It gets better.
Get past some of the cheesy acting and it's okay. Better. It gets better and it's so awesome. I'm loving it. But I'm obviously a Lord of the Rings junkie. So I've been waiting for so long for a show like this. And so I have many names.
Yes.
Deceiver. The Deceiver. The fourth step, the final step, was to make humanity believe an alien invasion was about to occur, convince Christians that the rapture was about to begin, and use a mixture of electronic and supernatural forces to activate microchips in all consumer electronics and appliances around the world.
Check. They've probably already done that.
Everything's already connected on the microchip. We have microchips in every single thing that we have, pretty much. Anything that involves electronics, there's microchips in. So we assume with all these different radio frequencies, everything being pushed through the air that's also blasting through us, that they could send out different frequencies. And then you have to step back and at least wonder what all these 5G towers are for. And we do not think it's to make your internet better because internet was already fine.
It doesn't get much faster than 0.3 seconds.
Exactly. You don't need anything better. And so they're putting up those towers everywhere that look weird. They look super weird.
Creepy.
What's the other purpose? Because we assume that it's not just for your internet to be faster. Verizon lied to us and said, "Oh yeah, it'll be great in your service area."
Their advertisements on billboards is Verizon 5G. Doesn't really say anything, but has the picture of the tower and like a red beam coming out. I'm like,
yes.
What are they saying?
What
are they saying? Because they're not saying faster internet. It's just Verizon 5G. red beam.
Yes, that's Illuminati symbolism.
Right.
In my opinion. It's whatever symbolism. Freemasons, Illuminati, or just corrupt, weird creeps in the... Yes.
But most people look at it and they know what people are just going to automatically think. And, oh, okay, yeah, 5G, cool, yeah, everything's just slowly getting better.
Cool, internet, great. But what they don't talk about is how high the frequencies are that are sent out from those towers. It's extremely high and dangerous from what we've seen in research. They say they have those, do not come close to this machine. Just like the things in Elkhorn.
Yeah.
All throughout that field, those huge towers. Mm-hmm. And it's to say to make a phone call, please.
Yeah.
It's a load because we don't use that ancient technology for just using phone towers.
No. I mean, and most people know, because I've worked in radio for a long time, you don't want to be close to transmitters and stuff. That's just a known fact.
Right.
So these are much more powerful. So steer clear.
Steer clear and have your wits about you. Know what's real and what's not. And trust your intuition. We found it very important
to talk about it because don't be deceived.
Yes. And so remember, the entire purpose of this is to get everyone under one control, one government, one new world order. They've said it. You can hear you can hear politicians talking about their new world order throughout history. Go back and watch videos of presidents like Bush and
they're people are pinning Kamala for saying it, people are pinning Trump for saying it. It's like, regardless of the politician or which side they're on, it's happening behind the curtains. Whoever is involved. It's happening.
Yes, that's what they want. And
they want us to blame one or the other to distract us from it actually happening.
So George H.W., he literally says it in this really creepy video of him addressing the nation, and he's smiling. And I kind of want to play that clip for you as well.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
You can hear it in his voice.
He says it.
He straight up says it. Many others have said it. And that's their plan. That's what they want to do. These elite ruling families like the Bushes and the Clintons and these corrupt, crazy groups. It's on both sides of the spectrum. You got to look at it from, not I identify here and here. Look at it from above and look at the people who are in this establishment who are just bought out. They just take the money.
This is what you're going to say. We wrote your script for you. Here's what you got to say.
We own you.
Yeah.
You're part of this establishment. We own you.
Yeah.
And so that is their plan. They want to get everyone together and then...
And it's also something they can have in their back pocket. They've got all these weird things where people think they're conspiracies, but I feel like they have a lot of different things up their sleeve they can just kind of pull out when they need it.
There's biblical flooding. That's how they're describing what's going on in North Carolina and Tennessee. It's like, that's how bad it is. These people are cut off. I was watching something today, completely cut off from the outside world. There's looters there. There's people who are, it's dangerous. So this person posted a video. If you have a weapon, make sure you have it on, because it's like, it's a war zone down there.
Yeah.
And look at all the natural disasters that are happening this year. It's absolutely insane.
They could send aid. They could fly planes over because people are saying they can't get help because all of the roads are just totally screwed up. You can't get in and around. It's very vast how much it expands outward.
Yeah.
So there's all these people trapped in this city, and they could get aid if they wanted to. We would know how to do it, but they're saying it's impossible, which is...
It's wild. Just like how they can't put out a forest fire. Oh, really?
Right. Same thing.
We have thousands and thousands upon maybe millions of planes. You're telling me we can't send a fleet over and put out a forest fire? Please.
You can't go drop water and food over people who are stuck there? Yeah, right.
No, they're just going to launder all of our money and send it off to other countries and other politicians and keep it for themselves and not help.
And use this as an excuse. Well, look at how much this is going to cost us now. So we don't have money for other things.
No, we can't. We're in Massachusetts. No, we're not going to. We left a message with the town Hey, can you fix the roads in our neighborhood? They are complete trash. There's potholes everywhere. People get hurt walking.
Well, our neighbor's been complaining for 20 years about it.
Yeah.
And so we're just trying to do our part. Maybe they'll do something.
They don't fix the things that would help people. It's like, wow. So that is Project Bluebeam. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. We hope this was a good learning experience. Go research it more. Start looking more into the technologies that are being suppressed from us. Look into reverse engineering. Look into 0-point energy. We talk about it in our previous episodes. Go back and listen to it.
Get a Tesla tee. We're sporting our Tesla tees today.
Yes, absolutely.
He's the GOAT.
He is the GOAT. He's the GOAT. And they took his inventions. They stifled them. The FBI holds them back, and they hold it all. Yeah. This guy developed energy to pull energy from Earth's magnetic field.
By studying ancient Egypt, by the way.
The secrets of the universe can be found in frequencies and vibrations. So we can stop burning coal now and gasoline, and we can start getting some better ways to free us from the corporate cabal.
Yes.
So thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.